All right. Welcome to the Patriot Trainer Show, everyone. I'm your host, Dan Lyons. Hope you all are doing well. And today we have a very special guest, my dear friend, Doug Thornton. And he's an amazing person, a great patriot. He's a Christian. And I'm excited to talk to him today and see what he has to say. So thanks for coming on, Doug.
Hello, everybody. Queen Wave.
So, Doug, before we get into kind of the meat and potatoes of today, we were just talking about this morning, the Pope finally passed away. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, for starters, I am a Christian and I'm a hardliner Christian. So that means I don't kowtow, bow down to, or acknowledge anything that is not of Christ. So not to be demeaning or disrespectful to anybody, but I do not like the Pope. I do not like the Vatican. I do not like the Catholic religious empirical setup that just keeps trying to rule the world some way. And now that this Pope's gone, I pray that man was actually right with Jesus, but I sadly have my doubts. But the thing that everyone's going to start talking about is the last Pope prophecy. So I want to read that to you real quick. It's pretty interesting. So the prophecy of the popes attributed to Saint Malachi suggests that Pope Francis might be the last pope before a period of great turmoil and the end of the papacy. This prophecy lists 112 popes under allegorical names, and some believe that Pope Francis is the final one, ending with Peter the Roman. So, this prophecy has been around since the 16th century. For me, I really don't care because I don't believe in these prophecies that are outside the Bible. I mean, not to say that people aren't receiving prophecy, because true children of God are still being spoke to by the Lord, still giving revelation of prophecy and dreams. But this is a strange thing. So, I mean, in one side, Dan, you've got all the good works that come straight out of this Bible. And I know that the Lord is trustworthy and true, which is why I believe every single word that comes from this Bible, and which is why I question to the point of scolding every single word that comes outside of people who are trying to negate that Bible, who are trying to do a workaround. I know that Satan also has his ministers of light, false ministers, false teachers, false preachers, false religions. We know that the Antichrist beast system eventually is coming. It's being worked on right now. The technological side's being laid. That's the foundation of it all. And not only that, but the great apostasia comes. And, you can go 7 ways to Sunday on what the great apostasy is, but in the short answer, it is a falling away of faith in Christ. People will still be in church. It's not a falling away of the church, unless we're talking about the church of Christ, which is one head and one body. But instead, it is the 10,000 different little churches and the 10,000 different little fiefdoms. And with the rise of the Antichrist, with this great apostasy, the whole world will come down and they will worship the beast. And you'll have a false prophet who, I don't know, could make it sound any more clear than a pope that will be there, announcing the formation of praise time to the beast. I mean, that's when I see the popes, that is exactly what my spiritual ears hear, my spiritual eyes see. This is a setup of the false prophet for the beast system. So I don't care what they do. They can do all their little freaking things that they do. For me as a Christian, I will focus on Christ and marching forward and preaching the gospel. So that's my little opinion on it.
Very well said. Yeah, I've been slowly trying to educate people on the Jesuits and the Jesuit world order and how the Vatican is behind the religious part of the beast system. And, like you said, the technological part is something different. It's a different sector. but all is going to unify someday soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe 10 years from now. We never know. It's on God's time.
Did you know that the Jesuit order, there's a Jesuit Catholic church that's in El Paso, and it is one of the main proprietors of bringing over the illegal aliens, which caused quite a ruckus up there. But from my time working in the government and working on the border, the Red Cross, which is sponsored by who? The Catholics, and then the Catholic order within itself were always the two major proponents that we had to deal with as an NGO, a non-governmental organization, and the smuggling and human trafficking of people. So there's so many tie-ins there, man. There's so many tie-ins. Just look, you want a really good history, look at the Red Cross and what the Catholic order did during Hurricane Katrina. We lost a lot of money and strange things happened there. Like I said, I'm not saying that every person who goes to mass is bad. I think you're just confused, and I think you want Christ and you want order, and you see it here, and that's what the Catholic Church gives you. Is like, man, it's a freaking castle, right? You got these guys in all these uniforms and all the fake holy of holies that's going around, but it negates everything that the Bible tells you. So, once again, come out of her, my people. That's not the right way.
Yeah. So you make a good point. I mean, I have many friends that are Catholics, and you're right. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about the Jesuit order, which
the hierarchy.
Yep. Exactly. It's almost like, I mean, it's kind of a terrible analogy, but Freemasonry, you have the people at the very, very top, and then you have people that are kind of ignorant to all of that. And they're just thinking that they're part of something that's helping society, and they might be completely ignorant to what's going on. So it's kind of the same analogy there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like saying that the hierarchy of the government is where all the problems are, and the government workers are just victim of it.
Right.
It's the same thing, man, all over. But there comes to a stating point. I mean, like, here we are. It's 2025. Whoever thought we'd be there? The Mayan calendar said we were all going to die in 2012. To have this amount of technology at your fingertips, to have this amount of information easily accessible, to have all of these authors write all these books about Freemasonry, about the Jesuit order, about the 3 different kinds of popes or whatever, about the corruption from the government. For me, I'm a big collecting declassified CIA white papers and DIA and government white papers because I'm a nerd. I just like to collect them and read them. But to have this amount of information and to still be ignorant to something, I mean, when eventually are you not let off that? Like, no, you're not ignorant. You just choose to look the other way at this point. So accountability, my friends, it's not to me, it's to God. So whatever your best excuse and lie is, I guess keep working on it, because you're going to have a hard time convincing Christ. You really tell me you didn't know anything about the Freemasons, all the documentaries and all these people out there screaming about it, and like, you never knew, never showed up, never talked about it, never asked a question. Well, man, gosh, I guess you're just a fool then, just a fall right line.
Exactly. So I want my audience to really understand what you do, Doug. So Doug has a couple of things going on. Doug is very, very knowledgeable about all that we just talked about, because he has a ministry called the AmericanVindicta. And it's the AmericanVindicta show. So you're on YouTube and Rumble. So I'll put a link below for anyone that wants to follow you on that. The AmericanVindicta show. And you have your ministry on there, but you also, like, I'm a personal trainer, and I'm in the space of getting people prepared with their bodies for whatever's coming in this world. So Doug, you kind of do the same thing, but instead of being a personal trainer, you have tremendous military experience and law enforcement experience, and you kind of help people to get prepared for what's coming from that particular point of view, from, self-defense and how to handle a firearm, correct?
Yeah. So and both sides honestly are ministry work.
Mm-hmm.
For the American Vindicta show, the one that people can typically tune into, we do multiple lives all throughout the week. We do nothing but Bible study. We'll talk about some topics that are happening around the world called the Situation Report, or Sit Rep if you ever see it come up. And feel free to ask questions. We don't ignore anything. We're not one of those types of YouTube channels that you write 1,000 questions and they never get answered. You can email us. We're going to email you probably right back that day, if not the next day or so. We try to
So I
really.
just want to interrupt for 1 second. I actually want to vouch for you for that, because that's one of the really interesting things about your show and how you do things, is that if someone comments and asks a question or just says whatever, in the feed, during the chat, or after you post the video, I notice you're always getting back to people. Not many people do that.
Yeah, man. I mean, isn't that what ministry is all about?
Yeah.
It's frustrating to be a pastor and to not have, a four-walled um house of God that we can sit there and minister to face with people. The Lord's working on that. Whenever it is time for that, obviously the Lord is building us up for that. But whenever it's time for that, everybody will know, and hope to see you there. But until then, I mean, anyone of any mindset is allowed to come and hear the word of God preached. But there's just a few rules, right? We won't allow anyone to talk about stuff that's uh, antithetical to the Bible. We're very strong on that. If anyone
Mm-hmm.
has questions, man, we're right there to help you. Look, I had all kinds of questions. I didn't start off as a Christian. So I'm completely sympathetic to people who are like, hey, I thought this. Well, I have and I deal with this with a lot of men, because that's particularly what our ministry is there to support, is young men coming out of the military service, men coming out of law enforcement, or currently in military law enforcement, or in your hardcore blue collar job. Or, I mean, also for any sister of any age, of any type of occupation, who wants to be there, who wants to listen, who wants to, just, say hi, what's up, how you guys doing, ask questions. We are a family unit. That's how we have built ourselves. That's the compassion that God brought into my life and my wife's life. That's how our ministry is built. So it's a very big proponent of us that you ask a question, we're going to respond to the best of our ability. You may like the answer, you may not like the answer, but we're going to give you
Mm-hmm.
the unadulterated truth, and we don't hold any punches. We call out everybody. I mean, we're an equal opportunity offender. So, along with the ministry side of what we do, which is the American Vindicta show, if you see the shirt right behind me, we have the Vindicta Solutions Training Company. So, ministry side, we're here to prepare the heart, all right, to heal the wounded, the brokenhearted, those who have been estranged, those who are new to the faith, those who are just exploring and they need comfort. We're here for you. We're here for that. But at the same time, those who want another resolution, you want to get a better, tighter grip on training with firearms, tactics, situational awareness, practical application. Um, our training course, originally, when I was designing this whole thing a couple years ago, was, here I am. I've got 12 something years of law enforcement, some high speed cool guy stuff. I've got the stuff that I did in the Marine Corps infantry, 2 deployments to Iraq, some close protection detail stuff that I've done with people outside of the United States and other countries. And, I've worked in 4 different very violent prisons. So I've been, scattered all across in just this little field, right, of dealing with people with my hands for the most part, or if not, talking
Mm-hmm.
with people. So I wanted to teach people how it is that I became so effective at that, and why it is that cops are so effective at our jobs, regardless of your biases. Um, when you come out of law enforcement training and you've been in law enforcement for a couple of years, you know how to talk people down. You know how to disarm people. You know how to cool down a situation. It's called de-escalation tactics. You also know how to escalate. You know when I should probably have my gun out, when I should probably just have my flashlight out. You know, when to raise the stakes and apply pressure. And at the moment you're starting to see compliance, back it off and give them a little bit something, right? If I just shine my flashlight in your eyes the whole time and I keep talking to you, is it going to upset you eventually? Yeah, I might. And like, oh, hey, man, and I've seen this before with cops. I've seen this before with civilians that I've trained. Hey, shine your flashlight right in each other's eyes and talk comfortably to each other. Let's see how long this lasts. Right.
That's a good point.
So it's the same thing when I'm skylining you with my machismo over here. Like, you got to learn when to bring it down, be humble, be meek. And so it's because of the ministry side of the house that always bleeds over into the training side of the house that we want to develop a kind of mindset for Christians. Honestly, for law enforcement officers, we've had a couple law enforcement officers come out. For people who are veterans or reservists, active duty, we want to teach you a few things. First off is being humble and learning to treat your neighbor as you treat yourself. Well, I mean, it's going to be the same thing. If I'm in a dire situation, do I want someone running around the corner pointing a gun at me, screaming and screaming and screaming? Especially when I'm innocent and I know I've done nothing. Well, think about that when you do that to somebody else. So we put you in different types of situations with our CQB shoot, move, communicate course. CQB stands for close quarters battle. So we have a mock house we call the shoot house, and we set it up in, I think we've set it up in like 20 different variations now, but we've got role players that you have to engage with. So it's not putting you on a firing line and having you, kill a piece of paper all day, though we do that now. We do teach live firearm courses. We just did that about 2 to 3 weeks ago. But our bread and butter is getting you used to dealing with people. Because I don't care how cool you think you are in all your tactical gear, or how many degrees of taekwondo or karate or jujitsu you think you have. Man, if you can't talk to people and think and move and find escape routes and figure out what your hand is doing with your gun at the same time, when this whole situation that everyone is warning you about, that everyone's preparing about, finally happens, you're going to be lost in the sauce, because everything happens at one time. Like when we were in combat, all right, it's not just that we're looking for people who are potentially trying to shoot us as snipers. We're also looking at the ground, hoping we don't step on an IED. And then we look 10 to 15, 25 meters out, hoping our buddies don't step on one. And then we're looking for cars that are coming at us. Are they watching us, filming us? Are they observing us and passing that back? Do they have a radio? Are they about to speed right into us, run us over? Are they about to blow us up? They're going to turn sideways and shoot at us. And the moment the first shot happens, it's moving, communicating, thinking, planning, moving. And if you've never trained like that before, if you've never done anything like that before, well, the odds start to stack up against your favor. So what we try to do is we try to give you an ability to be in a scenario. It's completely sterile. It's safe. We use simunition guns, so they hurt a little bit, but we've had 73-year-old women in this course. So come on, fellas, it's not that bad. And the goal is to get you into a staged, controlled environment where you will have a role player, an actor. My guys are the best, and they will present to you a violent encounter for you to engage with. And the whole time I'm right behind you, telling you, stop, look, listen, smell, use all your senses, look at your exits. Does he have a gun on him? Look at his waistband, look at his hands, listen to how he's talking. What is it that he's saying? Is he giving you clues? Watch your back at the same time. You've got to be thinking about all these things. And if you've never been in that environment, man, your head's going to spin. So we give the opportunity to be in that type of chaotic, controlled environment. And the role players who are also instructors, they're there for you to give you feedback from the way you are engaging them. I'm there to guide you and instruct you and teach you from behind as I'm watching everything unfold in front of me and giving you options. The role player will give you options based off of what you do. If you're scared, they're going to come at you. If you're being overly aggressive, well, they'll suck you into that situation and let you entrap yourself. Things most people don't think about, but every single person who has ever gone through our course, except one SWAT team guy, and another one was a SWAT team guy, got trapped. They got sucked into the situation. We have a friend of ours from Take Point Tactical, Tyler Marzofka. He's a SWAT team instructor. He works in various different other types of specialized things that I can't really talk about. But you know, he's gone through this as a SWAT team instructor, and he's like, man, from what we teach in schoolhouse and what we've done federally, you know, this is completely opposite to how we were taught, but it makes more sense. You're more one-on-one. I mean, I will teach you how to walk through a door, foot after foot after foot, how to hold the gun, swivel with your body, use your eyes, use your voice to talk to people, show you like you're being too quiet and you need to be more forceful. Here are some things you need to be asking. That's how you have to train a civilian in 3 days. That's all we get. We get 3 days with you. So, I mean, it's 12-hour days. It is all work. War is work. All right. That's an old Greek proverb. It's an old Spartan proverb. And it is true. War is work. There is so much training, just like with the physical education that you teach. There's so much that you have to know in order to be able to teach people this type of stuff. But when you get to experience it, like when you go through some of your courses and you start to see like, hey, man, I'm losing weight. I'm getting more agile. I'm breathing better. I'm sleeping better. I'm feeling tighter. I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling more confident. The same thing applies when you have a gun, because if you're going to conceal carry every day and not know how to use your gun, man, you're putting yourself in a huge risk. Most people don't know this.
Yeah.
The moment you shoot that gun, you might as well already consider yourself being arrested. Most people don't know that. You are going to get arrested. You're going to get fingerprinted. They're going to seize your gun. We're going to take you down to the county. We're going to process you. You're going to have access to a lawyer. And you just need to know all the right things to do before that moment. For one thing, to survive. Two, should you have ever been in the incident or not? Have you ever thought like, well, you know, I see two guys fighting and, you know, I decided to come over there and put myself in the middle and I had to draw my firearm. Did you have to insert yourself into the situation is what the court is going to ask you. Here's one that we bring up all the time. It's one of our scenarios. You come home from the grocery store, you pull up to your house, your door is wide open. Do you go in it? If your family's in there, yeah, you do. I mean, you better, right? But if your family's sitting in the truck and your door is wide open or your window's broke, clearly someone's broken into your house. Do you go in there? Because typically everyone will go in, everyone will clear out the house, and either will not find the bad guy or will get into a gunfight with our bad guy. And I always bring them all the way back out to the front door and I ask them the simple question: did you need to go in there? Was there anything in the house, not counting your family, because your family's in the car with you? Was there anything in the house worth dying over? Yeah. Or did you have the option to say, hey, law enforcement, this is me. I live at such and such lane. I am wearing black shirt, black shorts, flip-flops, black hat, covered in tattoos. I do have my concealed carry firearm on me. My house has been burglarized. I don't know if they're in there or not. Can you please send a unit out here and let me stay on the phone with you until they are in range, and then I can talk to them, or just talk to you until they get here? I've got a, white Chevy, whatever. And I'll be in my driveway. I'm going to be a trained observer and stay out of the way. And I'm going to let law enforcement, who has federal and state and local powers and laws, rules, regulations that are for them to cover them. It's called the scope of their authority to protect them. If they go into that house and if they kill somebody, they're not getting arrested. You don't have that. So you can allow law enforcement to come in and clear out your house, which is what we get paid to do. All right. Let us get shot. That's our job. Let us get into that fight. If you don't have to do it, let us do it. But if you must do it, if you don't have the time because you're the first responder and the cops that are 10 minutes down the road are the second responder, you better know what to do. So we train you on both aspects, man.
I think that is really important. It's almost like, there's two sides of it. There's where we are right now, where society is still intact and we have to play by the rules. And then there's the other side of it where, society breaks down. What happens in the Bible becomes a reality, which it's going to. And if it seems like what you do is you kind of teach people both because they're entirely different. Because, when society breaks down, it's kind of like the only authority at that point is God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the whole, rev up, rev down mentality. Like when you're driving through town, you're at a stoplight, light's green, rev up. Here's the next yellow light, red light, rev back down. Right. It's the same thing in your application when you're dealing with people, right? If you've ever dealt with someone who is like on SSRIs, who are ED, excited delirium, where they're just ripping their freaking clothes off and they have ungodly strength, or have you ever chased like a naked dude who's homeless, who's running on top of cars in a parking lot? Some hysterical things happen. But like, if your world is not dealing with those people, that's training. Every time you deal with somebody, even if it's a polite, hello, ma'am, how are you doing today? That type of encounter, that's all training. If you avoid people at all costs and you want to live in your doomsday shelter, and, I don't know what you do for training, so I'm not going to pick on anybody. But if you don't properly train, you don't properly learn how to deal with people, you are at such a disadvantage. Because what happens when, you forget the spirit of Christ that should be in you and you're just like, kill, kill, kill. Anyone who comes on my property, I'm going to kill them. Okay, if it's a mother crossing your backyard with her kids, are you going to kill her? You're going to point your gun at her? Like, apply common sense in Christ and everything. And the same thing for you cops. For you, for a lot of cops out there, apply common sense and Christ. You will go very far. But if you want to play Mr. Cowboy, tough guy, authoritarian, that's not going to get you very far, because it's the community. There was an old saying that comes from British law enforcement: the police police the community, and the community police the police. So, like, this is synergistic. We've got to be working together. I'm not in law enforcement anymore. I miss it every day. I miss doing the job. I miss being with the guys. I miss all of it. I really do. But where I'm at now is trying to bridge the gap between these communities, the law enforcement community, and the civilian community. Both are afraid of each other, right? Law enforcement has been trained to be afraid of people from like the second day that you are in the academy. It's all about, hey, look, these are all the civilians trying to kill you. You build this image in your mind, this we versus them mentality. And then, not all civilians are like this, but there are plenty out there, and the bleeding heart liberals are some of the worst, who literally think law enforcement is like against you. They always picking on me. They always pull me over. I hear this all the time from people. And I've got to say, like, from a dozen years of experience as a senior law enforcement officer, I never saw that. I don't know how people are in your area. I'm sure there's bullies out there. They need to be taken off the street. But 99% of cops aren't like that. That's like 99% of firefighters aren't sleeping and playing video games all day, though we know they are until there's a call going on. So, or they're washing the truck for the 6th time that day. So it's like I want to bridge the gap. I would love to be able to have community law enforcement show up with the community and have an engagement where the two would work together. Not only so that, you know, we can meld a little bit, but it's so that the community sees exactly what the cops are doing. And then they don't have to do this, you know, piggyback Sunday morning quarterback kind of, you know, mentality of like, well, he should have done this, he should have done that. Well, join law enforcement, you'll see what it's really about. I would love to be able to give people that experience. So I try that to an extent in our training. There's plenty of times where I will step back into the law enforcement actor role and respond to an active shooter set up in a scenario, and I'll have a civilian attached to me. So for one thing, you know what telling people where to go and what to do sounds and looks like. Secondly, you get to see how it is that I do it. And it helps a lot of people. Not everybody needs it, but it helps a lot of people put it into their mind. Like, this is how I should apply these tactics. This is when I should apply safe distance. Don't get stuck inside a doorway, right? Always look for a second person. Even if you think it's just one, always look for a second person, third person.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, there's so much to teach, Dan. I mean, in all reality, I could put on a 2-week course and still tell people it's just 2 weeks. I've only taught you the basics.
Yep. So what would you say to someone if, let's just say you have, you know, your typical middle-aged man, middle-aged woman, or older, and you know, they're in their house, it's late at night, and they hear something that doesn't sound right. Maybe it's someone breaking in, maybe it's just a tree that fell. What for the everyday civilian that's in that situation, what should be their mentality?
So there's 3 options here. First off, if you're single, well, kind of sucks, but it's actually kind of awesome. You've got no one to worry about except yourself, but you don't have backup. If you are married, or, you know, you're with your boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever, people, you know, how it is that people are doing their living arrangements, you at least got backup. You got someone to watch your back, or someone to look left as you're looking right. And if something happens, you've got another person right there who can apply medical aid, maybe provide a flashlight while you've got the firearm. They can be calling 911 while you're holding security down your hallway. But more importantly, if you have a family like I do, I got a big family. My wife and I have already pre-gamed this a decade ago. If anything ever happens, my job is to go say hi to the bad guys. Your job is to go straight to the kids' room. And I mean, I'm not going to talk about the type of firearm that my wife has, but it shoots very fast, and it shoots a lot of bullets very fast for a reason. And it's very compact. More or less accuracy by volume. So my goal is to stand and defend and fight. Hers is to gather and get out the nearest window and go to one of the strong points, go to one of the safe points in the house or outside the house. But that's already worked out and pre-gamed. So like when you got a family, you got to think about that. Like, dude, this is the worst thing you can do. Honestly, it's the worst thing you could do. And if you're one of these people who's going to sit here and cry and complain, I need my full 8 hours of sleep, or I can't work the next day, shut up. All right. Don't give me that. You're not ready for the advanced part of the coming perilous times. You got to get outside of your comfort zone. You learn to embrace the suck, because that type of mentality is what will help you with perseverance and get you much further down the road. If you hear a knock on the door, what are you going to do? If you hear a knock on the window, what are you going to do? If you hear the dogs barking, then the dogs go quiet. What are you going to do about that? You hear something collapse on top of your roof. Are you just going to ignore all these little hints? Is the Holy Spirit hitting you saying, hey, stupid, wake up, grab your wife, tell her to walk with you? For me, and we live on a little farm. So, I mean, I mean, if it's not the ducks, it's the geese, or it's the roosters, or it's the dogs, or it's the cattle next door, the horses in the next field. There's always something, or the deer. But I get up for every noise that I can hear. Now, I'm up and down all throughout the night, but if I'm not getting up, my wife gets up. And the moment she don't feel right, she wakes me up, because unfortunately, when I fall asleep, I am dead to the world. The tree outside could fall on me and I'd probably still fall asleep. But like, you should not ignore these things. That's bad training. You should train yourself the moment you hear something. I'm up, I'm observant. I'm going to tell my spouse, I hear something, I'm getting up, right? Wake up. And hey, man, if it's nothing, whatever, good training, go back to sleep. But one of the things that we ask for people all the time in our training is like, if you're married, bring your spouse, right? Bring your boyfriend, bring your freaking girlfriend, because two heads better than one, four eyes are better than two. The worst thing that can happen is you're going down the hallway, you hear a clatter, right? And your wife is scared, and you don't take a flashlight, you don't have a safe word, like when stuff gets really, really bad, you should probably have like a safe word, right? A safe word, and not for what some people are thinking already, but it would be like, hey, I'm in the downstairs bedroom. Hey, I'm okay, right? Everything's okay. Well, if I got my gun to your head and I say, tell her everything's okay. All right, well, she's just going to assume everything's okay. But if you can say like thunder and she says flash, okay, now I know something bad's happening, right? So have little code words. Don't be
Yeah,
stupid with it. But there's like,
that's really important.
yeah, there's go ahead.
Oh, sorry, what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I think so. From what I do, getting people physically fit and prepared, and then you have the ministry part, and then you have which the ministry part should be part of everything, right?
Yep.
But then you have the food prepping part. A lot of people are really, really focused on prepping for food, and I feel like the prepping in regards to what the practical things that you were just saying, it's lacking. I don't think anyone's talking about that. I watch a lot of different podcasts, and I'm on Telegram, and I see what everyone's doing, and I don't really come across too many people talking about self-defense and coming up with a plan. And I think it's more important than ever, because I feel like people that are conservative minded are probably more relaxed at this point now that, Trump is in office and things seem to be going in a certain direction for people that watch the mainstream, at least. But in reality, the Bible hasn't changed, and we need to be prepared for anything. And I think that it's really, really easy for us to sit back and say, okay, we can take a breather, but we shouldn't be doing that. We should be training. We should be preparing. We should not be relaxing at all. Maybe like relaxed for one day, and that should have been over with. And we should be right back on the throttle now, because like the 2030 agenda is still steaming ahead. I mean, I haven't really seen any signs of the 2030 agenda falling apart. I mean, Klaus Schwab just stepped down apparently from the World Economic Forum, but in my mind, I don't mean to sound like a black pillar here, but someone is probably just going to fill his spot. It's like Klaus Schwab, the guy that we were trying to pin everything on for the last 4, 5, 6 years. It's like, oh, this is the guy that's going to be taking over everything. It's like, no, he was just installed as a puppet, and someone is going to be replacing him that's probably going to be equal or worse than him. So in my mind, this stuff is very, very important to prepare yourself spiritually, prepare yourself with your physical body, but also how you defend yourself, because I don't think many people are in that mindset these days. They might have a ton of firearms at their house. They have no idea how to use them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, like that's a true statement. We've had people show up and say, I've got night vision, helmets, vests. I've never even put them together. And I'm like, well, when were you waiting to do that one? When were you waiting to, actually walk around your house at night with your night vision so that you can focus the diopter on it? Like, I don't know anything that you just said. I'm like, why'd you buy this stuff? Because I'm scared. I want to be prepared for my family, and it's easier for me to buy stuff. It's like why people buy so much food, or they buy the gadgets. There's always the camp gadgets, the survival watch, the survival flashlight. This light can be ran over by a car and still work. Most flashlights can be ran over by a car and still work. All right. This one can be frozen. Most of them can be frozen and still work. It's just selling tactics and tricks. There's a lot of people who hate me because I talk about this stuff. Look, everything that we have, that I have, is literally stuff I used on the job. All my stuff is expensive. Good gear ain't cheap. Cheap gear typically ain't good. There's a few things, right? But it's gimmicky. Like the survival preparedness world is gimmicky. It's there to, doomsday is going to happen tomorrow. Have our special sell for 1,000 million pieces of, flint wood or whatever. I've just seen all different types of crap. I've shaken my head. I've known many different companies that have done this, some that have reached out to see if they could be a sponsor. I'm like, no, thanks. I'm good. I just like, for me, when you come to our courses, you'll see all the type of stuff that all of us are wearing, the gear that we all have. And you'll notice that we all have, to our affordability, top of the line gear. We don't have stuff, 1,000 different stuff that's bought at the paintball field or, hardware store, tactical knives. We don't do that. It's a waste of money. It's gimmicky. You only need a few good things, just a few good things that work. And I know guys who have literally every month just bought me 2 more AR-15s and another 50 gun safe. Like, bro, what are you going to do with that? You're going to freaking wrap it around your back and walk to your truck with it. When the New World Order's coming, what are you going to do with that? Why are you wasting your money? Like, let me say something freely. For one thing, if you got a family and you are more hell-bent on preparing than enjoying your family, you're wrong. 2, step outside, turn off the YouTube and touch grass. Go bass fishing. My God, I wish I could go bass fishing right now. Go for a run, man. Go enjoy your deer hunting season, right? Like, go out and still enjoy your life. Enjoy this wonderful world the Lord has put us on. But to stay glued to this thing, this is slavery. Your cell phones, your tablets, the internet. It's slavery. It is digital slavery, and it's there to confuse you and scare you. And that's why you're always on Amazon looking up first word survival, and then I'm going to buy the first 10 things that show up. My next survival book, my next survival pocket watch that can turn into a knife and a radio. Stop doing all this stuff. The pros don't use that. We have, like, this is my knife, this is my radio, here's a cheap watch. Like, don't do all this gimmicky stuff. And the movies are the worst things ever to get any advice from. We've had guys that come through our training who will literally use the same type of lines, and it's happened every course, who will use the same type of lines that you hear from from guys trying to act tough in movies, and our guys just laugh at it because
Do they say hasta la vista, baby?
yes, we've heard all of it. We've had guys do front flips and rolls and cartwheels and all different types of stuff. I'm like, movie magic is not real. It's not a real thing. John Wick is not real.
John Wick.
John Wick died 2 bullets into that movie. Okay. It's not real. Is his training real? Absolutely. Is the rest of it all a lie to entertain you? Obviously, but don't do that in real life. But you were talking about like survival food. Hey man, how are you going to move all that stuff if you got to leave your house? Right? Like, where are you going to pack it all? You know, do you still drive? Do you have $20,000 worth of food buckets in the same 1987 Corolla that can barely like move, right? Because you're so cheap and you're such a penny pincher, you won't provide yourself a good set of wheels. Like me and another pastor friend of mine, another prior law enforcement Marine guy, Jamie Walden, we have both said this ad nauseum. Like, you need to have a vehicle that can get up and move. That's like the most important thing with preparation, is having a good vehicle that can pile you and everything that you need, not want, but need in there and get out of the area. Because more than likely, flash flood, the severe thunderstorms, the fires, the blizzards, the brownouts, like what we have here in Texas, where, you know, heat wave just kills all the power. Most likely nature is what's going to kill you first before people. People will just take advantage of the disaster. And then you have to prepare for that 5% who are on drugs. They have DID, multiple personality disorder, people who are self-destructive, they're alcoholics, they're on narcotics, and now, you know, they don't have it anymore. So they're fiending, and they need to, the demon in them needs them to go and get more money, to get more drugs or more alcohol, and they'll hurt anybody on the way. You got to prepare for those people. That for me, that's the number one thing. I'm not worried about the freaking Russians, not worrying about the North Koreans parachuting into Colorado, not worried about the Chinese. When they get here, we'll deal with it. The Lord is with us. Have no fear. But the crackhead down your road, all right, the pedophile watching your kids every day, waiting for you to turn your back on little Susie so she can be abducted from her yard. 3 weeks ago, little 6-year-old girl out in the DFW area. She was outside for 2 minutes. She was outside on the front yard. They live in a very nice residential area from what I was watching. Mother walks outside with her. She's playing with her toys in the grass. Mother goes back inside the house to like grab something, something incidental, like, oh, I forgot my water or whatever. Comes back out, gone. Okay. You don't want to know how the story ended. This happens every day. Parents, this is what you need to worry about. Homeowners, this is what you need to worry about. This is what we're teaching you. Situational awareness, how to apply it, how to defend your home. And defending your home is no different from defending your car. It's no different from defending yourself at the gas station, at a store. Walls and corners and doors are all the same. People are always the same. All right. And there's just a certain way that you need to learn how to react, or just learn it's time to just leave. And, if you're getting good training from somebody, you should know that it should be immediately instilled into you, like, okay, this is not good, we're leaving. Or this is not good, we're hunkering down. But instead, because that's hard work, you got to travel to a place, you got to meet new people, you actually got to perform, you got to be out there and potentially be embarrassed. Dude, with what we do, it is laughs and jokes and smiles the entire time. There's no military style screaming. There's no intimidation. We don't use live firearms. So that we have a ton of people who've never even had a live firearm before come to our tactics class and do great with our simunition firearms. So, it's a mindset, right? You can't just be disciplined in one thing. You got to know all of it. You got to know
Yeah.
all of it, man. It's the same thing like MMA. This is a really good concept here. With the Ultimate Fighter, you had dudes originally who were good at wrestling, good at jujitsu, good at boxing, good at kickboxing. Now, in order to be competent and competitive, you got to be good at all of it. You got to be super good at all of it. My friend, every time you walk outside your house, you better be more than dumb, deaf, blind, and ignorant and complacent. You better be observant, looking, listening, head off my freaking phone. You better have your firearm on you. You should know how to use it, what your laws are, what kind of ammunition are you using? Have you cleaned it lately? Do you know how to do a magazine exchange and fix any type of issues that's going on with the feeding process of the firearm? Any immediate action drills? Have you trained any of that? Where's your holster at? What kind of holster is it? Is it leather that will just cinch up and it will eventually make the gun drag when you're trying to pull it out? Or is it Kydex? For me, all my holsters are Kydex, but like there's cheap plastic holsters because you're cheap and you're a penny pincher. And then there's the good holsters that are, 50, 60, sometimes $100 more. We're talking about saving your life, right? We're talking about the application of saving your life. Why would you skip out on it? But yet,
Mm-hmm.
Dan, I've got people hitting me up, emailing me, asking questions and comments all the time. What can I do to prepare? I'm 70 years old. I'm wheelchair
Right.
bound. I've got a bad hip, a bad back. You know, here's where we younger cats need to be able to give something that is optimistic to people who are, they're going through pain. For one thing, your mind is not old. There's still things you can do. There's still ways you can prepare. It's got to be honed into what you can physically do.
Right.
And Dan's not there to hold your hand. I'm not there to hold your hand. Find someone local to you who can help you. All right. It's
Mm-hmm.
same thing with my training. If you can't make my training, that's awesome. Find someone near you. Work on basic fundamentals of firearms, marksmanship, go get medical courses, go to a radio course, learn as much stuff as possible. Learn as much as possible. Where's the harm in not knowing enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I walk into the woods and I know how to turn the woods into my luxury hotel, man, I'm golden. But if I walk into the woods and I've got $1,000 worth of Amazon survival gear crap and I've never opened it up, I don't know if it's all fake China stuff that falls apart. I might just die from hypothermia tonight, though I thought I was
Mm-hmm.
prepared. Right. So practice
Yep.
makes perfect, man.
I think you make a good point about, we talk about this stuff and it's easy to think that we're only talking about young guys our age. Doug, I think you and me are probably about the same age. But in reality, we're talking about getting everyone more knowledgeable about how to defend themselves. Doesn't matter what age you are. I say the same thing with my training and getting people healthy. It's like if only the young people were able to get healthy and defend themselves. Well, that's great. But what if everyone else too, even older people? Like I have a lot of clients that are in their 70s, 80s, and even in their 90s. But if everyone across the board, male, female, no matter what your age is, if you're just able to be the best that you can possibly be, then that's the most important thing, right? So it's like if you're beyond the age of Doug and I, it's not like, oh, you can't participate. You need to learn how to defend yourself. You need to learn how to eat properly, get yourself in physical shape, and just be the best that you can be for where you're at now. Doesn't matter what age you're at. So just wanted to kind of reinforce that a little bit. And then one other thing that I wanted to mention was I had a funny little story because we were mentioning the phone addiction. And I was watching a video. I didn't dig into the science the other day, but I was watching a presentation on a doctor explaining how blue light was actually addictive. Like the phones are addictive and the apps are addictive and scrolling the social media is addictive, but the blue light itself actually is addictive. And the other day, my wife and I, we don't really go out to eat a lot because we like to, get all of our food from local farms and grow our own food and everything. But we were at a restaurant and there's this high top table, and my wife and I were just blown away because there was this family, and this was probably like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night on a Friday or Saturday. And it was husband and wife, and both of them were glued to their phone. Like they weren't even blinking, right? And they got two little kids. Probably, I'd say the youngest was probably 5, and then another one was probably a couple of years older. And those kids were not on their phones. Thank God. Okay. Because I know that parents are giving their kids phones at a very young age now, but those kids were just desperate for something, right? You could just see it, right? Subconsciously, they wanted to connect with their parents. Their parents are not even blinking. They're just glued to their phones. And then one of the kids gets down, right? And starts kind of like running around the restaurant, and the parents don't even know. So we've got a problem here in this country and in the world with being addicted to our phones. And the phones, in my opinion, are the entry to the eventual mark of the beast that's going to be enforced digitally. So in my mind, these smartphones were like the new world order already started. And it started a long time ago. And the introduction of the smartphone was kind of the introduction of the beast system in my mind, right? All this talk about the quantum dot coming, and we won't need our phones anymore. And it's kind of like going from, oh, we're going to be using cash to then we're using credit cards, and then we're not really using cash anymore. And then we're just using, like Venmo and PayPal on our phones. But then it's going to be like, oh, we're paying with our phones. We already see that at a lot of the grocery stores like Whole Foods. Now you pay with your phone. And pretty soon it's going to be like have no choice but to pay with our hand,
Yeah,
or,
I think
the dot on our forehead.
I think that it's Whole Foods that's in DC and Austin. It's a palm scan. No thanks.
Yes.
No thanks. I used to be weirded out um when I saw people, they take their debit card and they do like this, and they hit the machine and
Yep.
it's paid. And I'm like, what did you just do? Because I'm still over here sticking it in or fidgeting it, sliding it. And it's like, and I made fun of people years ago when they were paying for stuff with their watch. I'm like, you don't have a wallet on
Mm-hmm.
you? Where's your ID at? Like, now,
Yep.
once again, talk about someone who's sucked into the system, right? Like, you don't have your government issued ID. I mean, freaking, we are so institutionalized. It's one of the things I keep telling myself, though it's hard to do this, because isn't it funny that the poorest people in America are on every type of government subservient process, right? EBTs, government housing, government phone, government, money coming to them every month. And the super wealthy can go off grid and be detached from all of it. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
you would think that the poorest people should be completely off grid because they can't afford anything. They're the most plugged in, and the wealthy elite are the most unplugged, right? We're going backwards here. We need to start thinking about how people were living in the 1800s when, I believed in dangerous freedoms. We need to get back to that. That's what we need to get back to, because the B system, it's a quarter or halfway here already. I know guys who work in telecommunications, laying in the fiber optic wire. And Trump, along with Biden, their goal is to get from the West Coast to the East Coast and North and South of America completely tied in to the fiber optic line. And then you're going to have instant 5G, 6G internet. Everywhere is connected. No one will not have high speed. And I mean, you need that in order to have these processing centers and fusion centers and FEMA camps and whatnot. You need to have instant acknowledgement and knowledge, processing of information, communications. You need all that at the highest speed at all times. And it's being, dug in the ground, hung up in the air right now. It's all around you. And so for me, I find myself at times when I just want to relax, like I'll go on freaking YouTube, communist tube. And you look at these guys who are doing these basic preparedness outings. They'll go out into the woods and they'll live for, a couple days off the land. And that's like what I used to do growing up in Southeast Texas. But now you have the complete opposite spectrum of that, and it's glamping. So they'll go off into the wilderness, and they literally brought their house with them, right? Dude, I'm telling you, if you study what's happening to people in the Middle East right now, you're not bringing your house with you. You may not bring more than just one firearm with you. You may not have more than just one magazine. Like when the Bible says it is time to grab your stuff and go, it is time to grab your stuff, grab your family and go. You may not have time to grab all this tactical crap. It took me a long time to put that in my head that like my super high speed, cool guy, plate carrier and gun belt and helmet and night vision, all that. If I don't have time to get it, man, that sucks. I don't have time to get it. But this is what's important. I have all that knowledge built in here and I can apply it here. But if you got tiny heart syndrome and, you don't think too well no more because the stupid phone does all your thinking for you, you're in a world of hurt.
Yep. Very, very well said. Well, yeah. So I kind of getting to a close here, Doug. Is there anything else that you want to kind of say to anyone that's thinking about being prepared, thinking about whether it's spiritually or physically or anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, a few things, right? We'll start, of course, with the Lord. The Lord is always patiently waiting on you. Always, right? His mercies are refreshing and new every day. Don't let Satan beat you up over the times that you stumbled in your life. The Lord is there to pick you back up and to put you on that solid foundation called Jesus. Apply this foremost and first in your life, and everything will be well. You may experience torments, persecutions, tribulations, but hey, man, if you die for Christ, to die is gain, right? I mean, to live for Christ, to die for Christ. We know that through his words, they're going to hate us because they hated him first. They don't even know why they hated him. So just accept that and just smile when it happens, right? But, prepare in the heart, men and women, children. I mean, every family should be praying together every day. I say this all the time. If you don't have a good Bible study, something to keep you on track. This is the one I use. It's from Pastor David Wilkerson. He's gone on to be with the Lord. Famous evangelist and preacher that's out there from New York. I mean, if I don't know what I want to read that day, I'll read what I'm supposed to cover that day, and they're all just one page. And I'll go and research and read the scripture that's tagged along with it. And it has truly helped me to stay connected to the Lord much better and more efficient. But the heart, being in line with Christ, making sure that I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be clothed in Christ, to treat people as Christ did. The vitriolic nature that's going on in America right now is worrisome. especially from Christians who are choosing which political side of the aisle to be on. And everything the orange man bad says is, I'm willing to fight and die for it because Donald Trump's going to save our country. And then you got Christians who are on the left, which I don't know how you consider yourself a Christian. And they'll say, well, orange man bad, so we need to destroy his whole system. Like, do you guys not see Satan is operating everywhere? Do you not see that any type of idolizing or hatred that you have in your heart is a gateway, a doorway for Satan to come in and influence you and accuse you, make you turn against the brethren, turn against yourself, use you in a way that you could hurt someone and then be hurt? And he leaves you and he laughs. Mission complete. I took another one from God. Like this, it's the fight is real, man. The spiritual warfare, the struggles, they're real. People are seriously addicted to things, addicted to trash food, soft drinks, narcotics, alcohol, tobacco, phones, pornography. I mean, we are in such a turbulent world that only Christ, only our Christ, our Lord Jesus, only he can save us from all this. You can't buy enough food pails off of freaking My Patriot Supply to save you from what's coming. You can't buy enough AR-15s to save you from what's coming. You got to be right with God first. Let that be the foundation. Let it be what you start off every day with. I feel like crap when I don't get to start off my day doing Bible worship. And I feel even worse if I don't at least end that day with Bible worship. So that's the spiritual side. The physical side of the house, don't be complacent. Things are getting worse. Crime is getting worse. Domestic terrorism is getting worse. International terrorism happening here. We're just expecting it to happen at any moment now, but don't live in a state of denial thinking it'll never happen to me, so you'll never prepare. But also don't live in a state of like advanced schizophrenia where, you have to look like a tactical ninja everywhere you go. Relax, act normal, be observant. As we were told in the Marine Corps, be pleasant, be nice, be kind, be willing to kill anyone that you meet. Right. That's kind of the mentality that I have in my head. Be professional, be like Christ. Right. If you need to defend yourself, defend yourself. If you need to defend the innocent from the wicked, do it. Right. You do what the Holy Spirit yearns for you to do. But to apply mercy and grace, understanding and sincerity and love and tender kindness, being tender and kind to people, I mean, that will get you further than anything else. That a nice, polite smile and saying, ma'am, how can I help you today? Sir, how can I help you today? That will disarm people. This whole machismo, I've got friends of mine like this. They can't shut the military off, and it's just annoying. Like you're regressing backwards with that kind of mindset. And for all you want to be tough guys out there, you're not tough. People see right through the peacocking. Be gentle. All right. You think you're tough? Let us tie you to a post and whip you a couple 20 times and then tell you to pick up this 1,000-pound cross and carry it up a hill. See how tough you really are. Be tough enough to actually apply Christ. Stop being a scared infant and wanting to be a tough guy in front of everybody. It doesn't help nobody. That's one of the things that I'm trying to untrain myself, because that was me for the longest time. I'm Mr. Tough Guy. Everyone's scared of me. What good did that do me? Didn't do me no good. So, and I guess in terms of preparedness, Dan has been helping me out on my diet. I reached out to Dan, or Dan reached out to me, and then we started talking back and forth. But I go to Dan for supplements, different types of food, different types of things that I need to do for my dieting, because I want to get my weight under control, and I want to actually lose weight. and become healthy and athletic again. I don't care about being a bodybuilder, never cared about that. I want to be athletic, agile, and strong. And I want to be able to last for more than a minute if I had to fight somebody on the ground. Right. My days of running long distance are just done. My knees are terrible, but it doesn't mean I can't be in a good cardiovascular shape. And Dan helped me out a lot with dieting, different types of things that cause inflammation. So, strong people are hard to kill, right? That's an old saying in powerlifting. I think Mark Ribito is the guy who said it. There's nothing wrong with being athletic. There's nothing wrong with going to the gym 5 days a week. I go to the gym 7 days a week. I mean, I'm literally in the gym pretty much every single night, and I'm doing something. And let me just tell you my reason why. Dan, I'll throw it back to you. As a father and as a husband, my whole purpose in life right now, after watching stuff like Hurricane Helene, after watching the Armenian people that were being chased up a mountainside by the Azerbaijan Muslim army, watching what happens in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria and Palestine, Israel, all these places that are just constantly trying to kill each other. Freaking Africa is one of the scariest that's out there. These people are on the run all the time. My whole goal in my mind is, should I need to be able to pick up my children and run, I can. Should I need to be able to pick up my wife and run, I can. Should I be able to pick them up, move them, put them in safety, and stand and fight like a lion man of God, I will do it until I can no longer swing the sword. That is why I train. That's why I train so hard physically and mentally. It's why I train on my knees so hard spiritually. That's why I apply the gun every week, and I'm training with it so I don't get rusty. You got to be a jack of all trades at this, man, and commit to it. As much as Christ committed to you on that cross, commit it back to him and commit to making yourself better, and all will be well.
Very well said. Yeah, it's funny. I can kind of relate too, because I've been in the fitness industry for 20 years. And for a long time, I was really interested in bodybuilding. I was much, much bigger than I am now. And then I kind of got burnt out. And I got burnt out because I had probably 115, 120 half-hour sessions per week. And that was in person at a gym. And at a certain point, I didn't want anything to do with training. I almost got out of the industry because it was just too much. And I was in this bodybuilding 24/7 state. So it was way, way too much. And so I ended up kind of not really maintaining where I was at. And I ended up just kind of doing the bare minimum. I lost a lot of muscle because, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I got down to a low of like 215 pounds, which for me, I'm 6'4", and I looked really, really unhealthy. And then just like the Holy Spirit inspired me, and everything going on in the world inspired me to try to put back on that weight that I lost. And it's been about a year and a half so far, and I'm back up to 250, and I got more to go. And it's for the same reason. I want to be able to protect people around me and take my wife and, take other people if I need to. So I'm right on the same page with you. And I think that everyone needs to get on that same page too. So you need to get on that page spiritually, physically with your body, get healthy, get physically fit. You don't have to put on tons of muscle like me and Doug are doing, but just put on any more muscle that you have right now. And you're going to be better able to help yourself, your family. And, yeah, there you go. And then go see Doug. Go check out Doug's show that he's got on YouTube and Rumble. I'll post a link below, and also check out what Doug has going on with his training, because, like I said before, it's not just pigeonholed to the younger guys. It's everyone can do it, and it's not an intimidating vibe whatsoever. It's not like you're gonna have it's not gonna be like boot camp. You're going to be trained. It's going to be hard. You're going to learn things, but the vibe is not like you're in boot camp. Correct, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, like we make time every day throughout the day, and especially at night. Um, we make time to sit around and talk to people, sometimes for hours. Um, so it's a lot of fellowshipping. You may just hear me preach and teach at some of these courses every now and then, depending on what our schedule's like. But it's about building a brotherhood, man. It's about building the family of Christ back up and letting people know it's okay to be a warrior. It's okay to want to fight. You don't have to also be in the military or in law enforcement to experience that and to learn that, to learn those skills. I'll gladly teach you it. And there's no shame in learning them. And, it's a friendly family environment. That's the way we try to keep it. I mean, there's no drinking. It's not a freaking rock star party. It's not a bunch of me and myselfs and pay attention. And I don't know. I'm so repelled by Christians who make everything about themselves. And then they have conferences and everything is about themselves. And then they have these, revivals and it's all about them and what they did. Like that is not what Christ put us here for. And so in our training, that's not our mindset. Our mindset is to make you an asset and not a liability. At the end of the day, I want you to be an asset to yourself, to your family, to your community, to your country if need be. I don't want you to be a liability. If you come to our course and you're fat and overweight, we're going to tell you. I mean, we're not here to hurt your feelings. We're all adults here, right? Hey, man, if you have like a high likelihood of dying trying to get off the couch because you've like morphed into it through bad discipline, complacency, I'm here to tell you, get on your feet and start walking. You can be so much more than what you are. Turn off the phone, put down the Cheetos, get outside and start walking. You can get healthy. That body is a temple for a reason. Get healthy and get your mind healthy and stay ready, stay focused. Don't grow complacent because perilous times are coming and you better be ready for it.
Very, very well said, Doug. Well, Doug, it's been a pleasure talking with you as always. And I would encourage everyone to check out Doug's show and also his website where he teaches the courses. I'm going to put the links below here. And just be sure to check those out. And just thanks again to Doug. And thanks everyone for watching this. And I hope everyone has a great day and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dan. What's the need for training? We train because we care about others. We agree to stand, fight, and die for those we love. Become an asset to your community, not a liability. Visit VindictaSolutions.com. Come get some training. Acta, non verba. Deeds, not words.
Hey, I'm Dan Lyons, and I'm a personal trainer. I'm here to help patriots understand why they have trouble losing weight. See, the globalists use specific chemicals in our foods, and these chemicals do two things. Number one, these chemicals destroy our ability to create cellular energy from the food that we eat. So this means now we're eating food and we're storing that food as body fat instead of burning that food for fuel. And number two, these chemicals destroy fatty acid beta oxidation, which is your body's own mechanism of burning body fat. So this is why everyone has trouble losing weight. Do you remember how easy it was for you to lose weight when you were in your early 20s? What if I told you that you could get that back? I put together a comprehensive online nutrition course for patriots who want to fix their metabolism and start losing weight again. The course comes with 13 interactive lessons, an optional graded final exam, 4 downloadable guides, all to help you make better choices while shopping, 1 beginner sample workout to get you started on your exercise program, a 20-minute abdominal and core workout video, along with much more. Throughout this course, you will have the opportunity to ask me questions and connect with other like-minded patriots. Reclaim your metabolism today.
Have you been looking for a trusted long-term storable food company? We have a solution for you. Simply Clean Foods is dedicated to providing the best quality food you can buy next to fresh from a farmer's market. Our line of resealable fruits, vegetables, and meats are suitable for everyday use, and you won't have to worry about throwing away valuable groceries ever again. Our food is completely GMO-free, and our stringent quality controls, plus testing for heavy metals, makes us unique in the storable foods market. Simply Clean Foods' primary focus is to bring clean food to people all around the world and change the way we look at freeze-dried food in our daily cooking. When you purchase from simplycleanfoods.net, not only will you be receiving high-quality food, but you will also be supporting veterans in need across the country and those who are affected by natural disasters. Right now, Amazon Prime members will receive fast 2-day shipping. Go to simplycleanfoods.net. That's simplycleanfoods.net. But do it today.
Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum has said, "You will own nothing and you will love it." And that's represented by what's going on across the planet today, where the economy of the world is in free fall, and nowhere is it more in evidence than with our own President Biden deliberately trying to sabotage what we have, access to food, other resources. So Americans are in a unique position, really for the first time in our history. We're going to have to provide for ourselves or subject ourselves to the whim of the government. Do you really trust a government to feed you that left 1,000 Americans behind enemy lines in Afghanistan? I don't think so. So where do you go? When you ask the question, who's the best prepper out there today? There's only one answer. Ready-Made Resources and Robert Griswold. I call him King Prepper, and that's how a lot of people think of him. You have Everything there you'd want, from night vision to storable food, how to prepare cooking in emergency situations, books and videos on how to prepare alternative energy, communication, first aid that you wouldn't think of, natural antibiotics, you name it, Bob has it. Now, here's the good thing about Bob Griswold that no one else does but him. You don't have to buy anything to talk to him. If you're not sure where to start with your preparation, no obligation phone call directly to Bob. You can talk to him for free. Most people will charge you an arm and a leg for a half-hour conversation. That's not Bob Griswold. He cares about helping America get prepared. Go to readymaderesources.com, or you can call the number directly at 800-627-3809. Again, that contact information, readymaderesources.com, for the best prepping outfit in the country, or call Bob Griswold directly, 800-627-3809.